Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night. This is At Week's End. My exile is over. The hurricane has passed, and with all the announcements with NYCC, the TV shows, all in absolute, like any good Marvel fan would say at the first sniff of a new Disney project, we are so back. Joined by the co-hostess with the mostest, hailing from the next sector over.
Who are you?
What's up?
Who are you?
Stranger to the channel, Mark.
What happened to John?
Yeah, you got downgraded, homie. Yeah, and I do want to start the show before we get into anything with a couple of huge thank yous. First and foremost, to my main man with pots and pans, Paul over here, who held down the fort for me while I was gone, kept the show running so that it was here while I was in the negative zone. And a huge shout out to Brother John's Comics. If y'all haven't figured it out by now, if I can't be here, Brother John will be here. He always steps up. He's the first person I ask, the only person I think of when I can't make it. And he's always so gracious to give up his time and to pop on and not just like be here, but do an amazing job while he's here. I absolutely love John to death. I love hearing his perspective on things. It's so well thought out and it's so informative. And I just love his take. Me and him are so opposite on so many things, and that what makes us such good friends. And I can't thank him enough. It's just fantastic. And lastly, huge shout out to my brother from another mother, Rob's Fat Sacks of Comics, who he regularly keeps the Friday stream going, but he continued to do it in my absence. But between Paul, Rob, and John, the channel, even though I was in the Phantom Zone, it was able to keep going. And I appreciate everybody who came and hung out and stuck in there while it was all going on. And I hope y'all all enjoyed it.
However, happy to report that your long national nightmare is over, and and Mark is back.
But like I said in the intro, a lot's happened, a lot's going on. There's a lot to talk about, a lot that I missed. Luckily, I didn't miss any of it. Where there's a will, there is a way. But a ton of stuff has happened. First and foremost, to all the channel members out there, thank you so much for supporting the channel and being a channel member. The first Sunday of every month is when we do the Legion Loot giveaway. Well, that wasn't able to be done. The show was able to go on, but without me here with the list and the giveaway and all that stuff and the wheel, wasn't able to do it. So we're drawing it tonight. The September Legion Loot will be drawn tonight for all the Legionnaires. If you don't know what that is, it's the join button down below. If you join the channel membership in the Legion tier, it gets you on the wheel, and as well as early access to videos, the loyalty badges next to your names, the custom emojis, and access to exclusive member-only streams, which I was just getting the hang of doing when we when we switched on dark mode outside and just had no lights. But yeah, we'll draw for that tonight, and then I'll immediately this week start figuring out how to put together the next one, which will be coming fast. But no, there's already a bunch of people in the chat. Say hey to some people. Ruby G, what is going on? Hero for Hires in the building. What is going on? Billy, what's up? What's up, Brother John? There he is. Las Crucius clocking in late. Look at that. Look at that. Through a curveball. I didn't have the stream set up till late. Christina, how are you? How are you? What is going on, Bo? What's up, homie? Cliff, good to see you, my dude. DJ Wise, what's up? What's up? DJ Links, DJ Brian, DJ Joseph Michael. It's good to see all of y'all in here. Pops, what's up? What's up? Oh, yeah. How's it going? Sledhead, what is up? What is up? Howdy doody Trev, Mike, what is happening? What is happening? Scroll through these fast. There's a lot to get to tonight. Steven with a C, what is up? Canadian Survivalist is in the building. Appreciate you guys showing up. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'm sorry.
But
I don't apologize.
don't apologize.
T-Dubs is in the building. What is happening?
He won Paul Hall on this channel.
Paul Hall, yeah, dude, and that blew my mind. The when I got in some service the next day, I see notifications and comments on Las Crucias congratulating the winner. I'm like, the winner. So that even though we didn't do the Legion League, the fact that you ran a giveaway completely unprompted, just out of the goodness of your heart, that was fantastic, dude. That was amazing. Brother John dropping the 30-month member milestone chat. Hashtag We're Legion. Love you guys. Kenny B, what is happening? We got another member milestone chat for 10 months. Welcome back with a heart. Thank you, Clifford. Heart back at you, my dude. Look at that. We got heart hands. Good stuff. A lot of hearts in there. All right, let's see. Jersey Boy. Yo, it has been a highlight getting to watch this guy, his comic journey take off.
Fresh back from NYCC.
Yeah, like I mentioned it last night, and the best way I can think of it is Durs got lucky and didn't drop the ball. Like he got a lucky, like sometimes luck just works in your favor, and luck worked in his favor, and he stepped up to the plate and he didn't fumble it, and he's like living the dream right now. I'm so excited for that guy.
Absolutely.
Be sure to check him out at Rupp's Comic on Whatnot, guys. He's got it going on over there. There we go. There's those custom emojis you get access to by being a channel member. Is this where I end the week? It is, in fact, where you end the week. It sure is. What's this? Got a $5 super chat. I call it dollar. They call it pounds or something. I
do call it pounds, yes.
Pounds.
5 pounds.
Let's freaking go. Welcome back, sir. Appreciate that, DVH. Boom, boom. Thanks for that, Paul. Didn't realize it was a treasury-sized book.
Yeah.
Which one was it? The Muhammad Ali?
No, the Batman one.
Oh, the Neil
Adams. Yeah. The foil one. So.
Oh, of course. We assume foil unless you say non-foil.
Right.
That's funny. 20-month member milestone chat. Nice. Yeah, I bet, dude. I bet he's war slap out. 36-month member milestone chat. Cancel Red. No way. We're not canceling Razor. Can't cancel Razor, but I'll support your hashtag all the same. I support your cancel attempt. I support Razor's attempt to stay. Support everybody. Let's see. A 15-month member milestone chat. I'm a DJ now. Nice. Something new to add to my resume.
There you go.
Yeah, anything you can put on a resume, put it there. Much love to you, homie. Pimp. Couple comics is in the building. What is going on? NYCC was insane. I heard he started a fight in the Peach Momoko line. It was Cuppy.
No.
It was, in fact, Cuppy. Let's see. Gary B, what is going on, homie? Hope you're doing good tonight. I know you're doing good. I was talking to you earlier. 28-month member milestone chat. Look at that. Look at that. People clocking in some good time. Good time. And if you haven't joined the channel membership, be sure to hit that join button. Check it out. Read the details. See if it's something that you'd be interested in. And watch the amazing stuff that's going in the Legion loot for this month. Technically last month, September. I'm going to show these off at the front end of the stream here, and then we'll get into some stuff. But, of course, the Big Time Collectibles sponsors the channel, and they always send me a box of goodies to pass back out to the community. And the books going in there from BTC this month are Star Wars Darth Vader 44, the Sabine Wren variant. They did the whole Star Wars Rebels stuff. Some Thunderbolts #1, because we got that new trailer. I say new, but time's so relative right now. Alan Qua, Ultimate Spider-Man #1. I heard people like that.
He knows how to pack people on a cover.
He does. He's like a modern age Asian.
Like George Perez.
George Perez. Yeah, it's really cool. And look in the background, like Spider-Punk on stage, jamming out. Like the first time I saw one of these Alan Qua pack covers, I'm like, George Perez would be proud.
Former Will Waldo artist, Alan Qua.
The Miko Goodness Batman 89 black and white. This is actually in this world's this is world's finest under here, I believe. Yep. World's finest #1 even. Yeah, that is just such a beautiful cover. Like, good God. Miko went above and beyond with these Michael Keaton, Christopher Reeve covers. And then because it was the month for Batman Day, so I did get the Batman Day freebies. If anyone didn't have them, they can get them here. And this is also like pretty much the last work from Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok together at DC Comics and Joker the World. But I also got the Batman Elmer Fudd not free comic book, because if you haven't read this, it's not what you think, and it's 1,000 times better than you would dream. You've got
it was the best out of all the DC Looney Tunes crossovers.
It was the only one that was taken seriously, and then at that point, it was taken very seriously. It gets pretty dark. Then got the red foil Virgin for the Long Halloween #1. This wasn't free either. This was an exclusive for Batman Day. It's shiny, and that can be yours as well. And then thanks to Paul for upgrading me. The what is this, spot chrome? What did they call this one?
Prism.
You won't be able to tell till you get it in hand, but this thing is so prismed out. It's ridiculous. Even the back cover is, but this is the 0 Hour 30th anniversary thick boy. Gromit's #1, because I keep hearing people talking about this book. And then we've got that 10th print for Void Rivals featuring the Daniel Warren Johnson cover with Jetfire, where it all started. So I wanted to grab that because the month this box is for is the same month of Transformers 1. But then I saw this Ian Bertram cover. He did the 1 in 25 for Absolute Batman. This guy's artwork is on my brain. I'm like, I've got to throw that in there, get this guy's art out there. And then the big one for the box is actually this. I just grabbed this because I'm a big fan of Mark Spear's art. It's just captivating, and I like Universal Monsters. It was a series I was jumping on. So I wanted to grab a second cover just to kind of get the book out there, hopefully get another fan out there, like make another subscriber for Mark with this series. And I saw a Lovely Lady cover. I'm like, those are always good to have in there. And turns out this book blew up. This book is not a cheap book now. It was like on the top 10 list. When I looked right before Power went out, it was at $80. So I'm sure it might have gone down and leveled out a little bit. Have no clue where it's at now, but it's a hot book. It's a hot book. I'll tell you what's captivating about that cover. Breasts.
Nick's happy because the Yankees are in the World Series. So.
Yeah, they're not. They're probably two different ones too, Nick. It is the Bride of Frankenstein. And then last but not least, again, because it was a Transformers month and Energon fan, I picked up a Void Rivals issue #1, one of the ratio covers. This one is from Matteo Scalera in a CGC 9.8, where the Energon universe gets its start, where it all began, the amazingness of it right here in Void Rivals #1. You remember where you were when Jetfire stood up? I do. That was such a moment, and it hasn't stopped yet. So that's all going to one lucky Legionnaire tonight. It's a decent stack. And if all goes right, what's going to happen is I'm going to attempt to end this stream because I'm sleepy, and Paul's going to remind me to spin the wheel at some point. That's typically how it goes.
Don't forget to spin the wheel. My work here is done.
Yeah. Hope it's a decent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really like this comment. That was a good one. What is going on, Tony? How are you doing? DVH.
He's lucky that wasn't a 3D cover.
Yeah. Oh, Darren dropping the 36-month member milestone check. Welcome. Well, thank you so much.
He was all over NYCC as well.
Yes, he was. He most definitely was. Big shout out to Sledhead. Boom, joining the Legionnaires there. I think it's Legion. It doesn't tell me which tier, but join the channel membership. Big shout out to Sled there. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you guys haven't done so already, be sure to check out that channel membership. It's some really, really fun stuff. And hopefully tomorrow night, if all things go well, are we doing anything tomorrow night?
No, a week from tomorrow night.
Okay, so if all goes well, I'll hopefully possibly be doing a members only stream tomorrow night just to open some mail and hang out. So if you are a channel member and you just feel like kicking it and opening mail and just BSing, I'm going to attempt to get back into that too, because I don't open my mail very well. There's a pile of over 20 packages.
But by very well, he means at all.
I counted them last night. There's over 20 packages in there, and there's more stuff showing up. There's like 4 over here. I have this one that I use to hold up the arachnid from Starship Troopers. That's actually unopened mail that I use as a flat.
Right now, if you want to make sure he opens up some mail, send him a steelbook.
So that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. And I'll be opening up a steelbook tomorrow night, but it's not one that I had shipped to me. But they're fun to open the actual packaging to see the art inside. Right. But it's the eBay sellers, because they pester me. They'll either message me directly asking me to rate it for them, or I'll just get generic emails from eBay, which I get that, it's like part of the process. So I don't want to be like a poor buyer, because that I don't know. But yeah, is your show back on Tuesday? The pride and joy of the channel. What is new DC Day? It's really this stream is like the flagship one, but I'll tell you what, that stream sure has become fun. And I've had numerous people, believe it or not, most of the people that watch the channel that aren't like the buddies from hanging out with, the people that reached out to me were the new DC Day stream people, because there's a lot of people that I see over there I don't see anywhere else. Like in other streams or anything like that. It has like its own like dedicated audience, which is really awesome. But this Tuesday, new DC Day is absolutely back. Absolutely is the absolute right word for it. Wonder Woman drops. We'll be talking all kinds of stuff, especially with the announcements that came out and everything. There's just so much going on, but new DC Day is back. Weekly giveaway is back. All that good stuff. It's the place to come. Yeah, not necessarily pops, pump the brakes. got it. I got a lot of catching up to do. I still got the C3 stuff to catch up on. I have to get those books all priced out still, and see if I'm going to toil with even making more, just building the boxes for the people that already bought them. Got to see. Most likely that'll end up being the outcome, is just building those boxes and getting them out as quick as possible for people. But I'm going to be running numbers for the people that bought them once I get them put together live and assigning boxes to people. So it's all in front of the camera and above board. Watch the replay. Yeah, Brian crucified him. It was a baptism by fire. It was so funny. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, true. All right, so let's start getting into stuff. I don't know if there's anything else to really catch up on announcement-wise or anything. What is going on, Thomas? Hope you're doing good. But there's a lot to get caught up on as far as stuff I missed. But, Paul, real quick, you said next Monday we got something?
Yeah, well, this Wednesday we have Guess That Key. And we have the aforementioned Brother John's Comics, and Dale of Suspense is on as well. So, because we missed a week too, because he had a hurricane, and then I had a hurricane, and then
we all get a hurricane.
We're like it's like the Oprah of hurricanes.
That's us.
Yeah. So it's been a month since we did one, so we'll be back this Wednesday night. But then a week from tomorrow night, because it has been even longer since we've done DC Comics Deep Dive. So to climb back into it, we're going to do a special live. Plus, it's the end of Absolute Power that we're catching up on. So kind of, if you've been with us through our entire journey, at the end of every major event, we kind of do a live one. And we will be doing that a week from tomorrow we didn't pick a time, 8:30?
Is that a question?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At 8:30 or 9. Just just watch our channels for more on that. But as we've done as well, though, we will also be giving away something. So we will be giving away the entire Absolute Power, both the free comic book day, Ground Zero, all 4 issues of the main series, all 7 issues of the Task Force 7, and the Superboy one as well as we're going to throw in DC Comics All In. They will all be foiled out that you can win.
Oh, nice. How far behind are we on that again?
Our goal is to do next Monday. We're going to do Absolute Power Task Force 7 number 7. We're going to do Absolute Power number 4, and we're going to do DC All In. And then we'll get back to doing them on Monday mornings, and we're going to do Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman the following Monday, and then we should be caught up with Absolute Superman the Monday after that. So,
good grief. So that's my bad. Yeah, it was we got backed up fast, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna catch up quick though.
Yeah. We're going to make it happen. But yeah, appreciate everybody that watches that. I dropped the link if you don't know what the DC Deep Dive is. We go through any of the major events, major story arcs, or major big things happening in DC Comics. Each individual issue, including the tie-ins, in case you don't want to buy in or time invest in. We do it for you. I'm actually caught up on all my reading because, strangely enough, when there's no electricity, and ironically enough, when there's no lights, you end up reading a lot.
You can still read.
What it was is the kids weren't I think kids were out of school for weeks. You know what I mean? So there was no having to drive and shuffle and do. It was just work in the dark and hang out at home in the dark. But at night, when you just want to cool off, you just turn the little lantern on and you just sit there and you read. Don't rush my C3 mystery box. I can wait, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to get them all out at the same speed, the speed of smell. So it is what it is. I worked on stuff a lot over the weekend to actually I wanted to get something out. I wanted to talk that all in so bad. So I got that out. And then there's an Absolute Superman video coming. It might be available for channel members already. and there's like another video recorded and more on the way. Like I got like just all this stuff coming out, and like this is just killing me. Like not to get to talk about it. Not to get to talk about it. It's going to be a lot of babies in 9 months. Heard that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely. Better not be none here, though. But yeah, appreciate the super chat with that, Dr. Von Hoot. All right. I don't even know where to begin. There's what's going on today? Don't worry. It'll all have to go through Atlanta, so it'll be a while before Mark ships it immediately. Exactly. Yeah, so yeah, everything that's getting sent to me, everything that's going to be, because I got like pre-orders for days, you know, that stuff would still like start moving from its respective location. As soon as I would get notification, blah, 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 shipped. 5 minutes later, blah, blah, blah is delayed before it even left their hands, just getting processed into USPS systems, like delayed. All right, let's see what we got here. First and foremost, you know, we got to talk Superman. This got a wide release. This is in theaters right now. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's already getting nominated for Critics' Choice Awards, like 5 awards across the board. Hopefully, when Oscar season comes, we get to talk about this movie some more. It got announced that it'll be getting a streaming release at the beginning of November. That's not officially announced by DC Studios or Warner Brothers, but the source that announced it is pretty most of the time about it. So expect to see that in a few weeks. If you can make it to the theater, go see it in the theater. Support the movie, support the cause. If you want good stuff, you got to support good stuff, and it is in fact good stuff.
It is very good stuff.
Yeah, it is. I hope they do a physical release for it, because I can see myself buying it and leaving it be. It's not like, oh, let's rewatch that.
They could do a Man of Steel box.
That would be cool. A Man of Steel book.
Right.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and at the same time, end of last week, they also, with McFarlane Toys, the pre-sales for the Christopher Reeve Superman went up for sale, and it sold out pretty much immediately, which is awesome. Superman's a lot more popular than people have any idea. Like, he's not a fad superhero that people just bounce around and talk about, but it's like when something comes up, it does well. And the next thing is definitely Superman news. We got to look at crypto. Inspired by James Gunn's little ragtag rescue dog, we got crypto. Great shot. It is clearly influenced by the comic books with him and Crypto sitting on the moon looking out at the earth. What was that? That was an All-Star, wasn't it?
I believe so, yep.
I think it was. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. Are you up or down on crypto, or are you indifferent on crypto?
Oh, I love crypto. I love crypto when he was in Titans. This obviously looks like a much different crypto, which I'm okay with. But it kind of looks like, in some ways, it kind of looks like for lack of a better term, like the underdog. And that's exactly who Superman, that's who he champions,
Yeah, I'm like, as soon as they James Gunn confirmed that crypto will not be talking in this film, I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still like, I don't even know. No one knows what this movie's about to be. It seems like most people are getting more excited for it now than they were previously concerned. I think everyone's kind of warming up to the idea of this being just like a large scale project in the middle of some kind of story, or a world where stories are already existing. We're not starting at the beginning of a universe. We're being introduced to an existing universe. But I'm excited. The closer it gets, the more excited. I feel like I've gone through the full range of emotions. Like, I'm excited, then I'm concerned and worried, a little aggravated with how much stuff is being shoved into it. Then kind of excited again. But we'll see. We'll see. I got hope in it. Did you get your Reed's version of Superman figure, Mark? I responded to your comment. I did not. It sold out. Per usual, Paul had a message me like, hey, the figures went up for sale. I'm like, cool. I went, look, sold out. I'm like, yeah, I'll get it. I'll find one. I'm not above overpaying on the secondary market for certain toys.
Yeah. And to your point with crypto, I do not want to hear Dwayne The Rock Johnson's voice come out of that character at all. So
no, you don't know. Not this dog.
No, not
Wouldn't that
dog.
be funny if you got like this little fluffy mutt looking thing and it just The Rock? That's excited. I'm so in for absolute crypto. Let's go. Yeah, absolute crypto would be a pit bull.
Right, exactly.
Looks like Benji meets Superman. Yeah. What's that, Clark? Johnny fell down the well. Oh, good. No talking animals, please. Yeah. What's going on, Comic Vet? Definitely happy to hear he's not talking. Yeah. I have 5 of them on order, Mark. I will put one. Oh, dope. Perfect. Yeah. Did you order the case? Did they do a case with him? Yeah, they did.
They might have, yeah.
They did.
It was all part of a. It was there were like 4 different characters, I think. Again,
Well, that's the set, but
right?
with certain figures, I swear I remember that they did the case because that's how you get the platinum guaranteed. Because sometimes they'll do
Right.
like the platinum lottery,
Yeah.
but for some figures, I don't know how they pick which ones. They'll allow you to order a case where you
Yeah.
get 4 or 5 of the figure and guaranteed the next one to be the platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm wondering if they're going to platinum Christopher Reeve with the Superman 3, or like if they. I think it'd be cool. What was it? Solar Man? What was the dude's name in number 4? I always want to say Solar Man.
Yeah, Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man. Yeah, we have this. Remember Solar Man? Like that. Like it was like late '80s. The yellow and orange suit, and he had the little robot sidekick.
Yeah. I ordered mine through the Big Bad Toy Store as well.
Yeah, it's well. You told me that, and I went over there, and they were sold out there when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
That quick. But I appreciate that, Joe. I'll definitely be happy to buy one off you. That works out perfectly. Order 5 of them bad boys. 2 through Big Bad Toy Store and 3 through Amazon. That's why they were sold out. Joe got them all, but it works out. At least he reached out. That's fantastic. Yes, right. So I'm assuming they'll either do like the 5 o'clock shadow and the dark paint scheme on the suit for a platinum, but they should do Nuclear Man for a platinum. Paul Screes didn't freeze up as much when I was on with him. Thanks for blaming me. Nobody likes a bragger, John. All right, next up, keeping with the James Gunn news. I know you saw this. We talked about it in chats and stuff. Who is this? James Gunn shared this post to his social medias.
I know who I thought it was before, or who I guessed it was, but I'm guessing someone else now.
All right, who was your first guess? First off,
my guess, it was kind of a funny, but my guess was Apache Chief,
which would be cool. Which would be a deep cut. It's really just
and he knows those deep cuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
however,
this is a Peacemaker season 2 teaser photo here.
Mm-hmm. However, I think it's someone else now.
Who do you think?
I think it's Rick Flag.
You think that's Rick Flag?
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Yeah. What if this is someone raising Rick Flag?
Mm-hmm.
So did you see where James Gunn put out the post, and also comment in the chat if you got any guesses on who it is? John, I'm sticking with that. Sticking with it. I said Jimmy Olsen.
Once a year, Snowflame's going to be the right answer.
What is going on, Razor? Hazer, I'm glad Razor drove meaningful change to the community. Someone's got to do it. Rick Flag would be dope. Yeah, I'm team raise the flag.
And he's in it, right? He's been confirmed that he's in it.
It's confirmed that Joel Kinnaman came to set to film. He will appear in some capacity there. We know that we have.
No, I'm thinking Frank Grillo. Or isn't Rick Flag Grillo?
Rick Flag Sr. is.
That's what I think it is. Rick Flag Sr. Sorry.
Joel Kinnaman, who played Rick Flag previously, is confirmed to have.
I think it's Rick Flag Sr. Let me say that.
Okay, sorry. You think it's the new Rick Flag?
Yes.
Frank Grillo could be. That'd be an odd choice. I think you get in trouble for doing that these days, though, right? Like you can't wear that. You get in trouble. Animal Man, that's a good guess. That would be wicked. I keep trying to think of like some deep cut Charlton characters like it could be, because he likes to throw those Charlton characters in here. And that's where Peacemaker started. That's why we got Judo Master in season 1 as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm super ready for it too. It does look like Tarzan, but he's got like the feathers on his arm and stuff, and dream catchers in his hair. So it's definitely a Native American character. Is what it looks like. It looks like an Indian sent by the fire. So we'll see. I'm excited for it. Also, you saw the new trailer for Creature Commandos coming out of NYCC. They dropped a new trailer, and James Gunn also put out a post, and he said he believes that episode 4 of Creature Commandos is the saddest piece of film that he's ever written.
Right.
What do you make of that?
He's written some sad stuff too. It's like, you know what? That's saying a lot from his perspective. So, but you know what? I'm all for tugging at the emotions. It's like Brian Wood raises 0. Yeah.
Yeah, Razor will tell you that too. It was rough showing.
He also said, I don't want to forget, but Gunn also said that he's kind of weird. Like he said, the Superman trailer is not as far away as you think it is, but it's not as close as you think it is either.
This is a good point. That means he's killing his bro off in that episode. He can't do that. Sean Gunn plays Weasel. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Weasel, timeline-wise, this Creature Commandos could come after. I assume that this came out before timeline-wise Suicide Squad, but I guess it could be after. Yeah, he could kill them off.
Good. Absolutely. You never know. It's if it's one thing, I mean, he's shown that he's not averse to killing off characters if it's for the greater story, even if it's somebody he likes.
Yeah. Oh wow! Did you read Creature Commandos #1? For those that don't know, the Creature Commandos show comes out soon. Yeah, right? Like December?
Something like that, yeah.
Before the year's over, it'll be out. But to coincide with it releasing, DC Comics has released a brand new Creature Commandos, what I'm assuming is a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
But issue 1's out. Issue 1 was decent. What do you think?
It was good. You and I talked about it in our chat, but it was good. I enjoyed it. But the last page reveal kind of made me. It was kind of like, oh, why'd you got to end on that? It's like, yeah, you know what? If we haven't seen, we've seen enough of Brainiac for a while.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. The big bad at the end, they revealing to be Brainiac. I wish it was some like big bad attached to monsters. That'd have been cool. Like, why couldn't it be like some kind of crazy Van Helsing or something? If our monsters are our good guys, the monster hunters got to be our bad guys. But yeah, I think that's what I initially thought. But then having Rick Flag at a senior at an older age, it can't be that early on. And having Amanda Waller in it at her standard age, it can't be that early on. G.I. Robot seems like he's going to be our comic relief. There's like pointing a gun at his partner, die Nazi. Like what? It's like, yo, he's not a Nazi, man. That's your partner. Yeah, it looked funny. That second trailer looked a whole lot better than the first one did, and I thought the first one looked fine. Sticking with some James Gunn fun, did you see that they announced a comic book to bridge the gap between Peacemaker Season 1 and Season 2, featuring 2 of the standout characters from Peacemaker Season 1, fan favorites, Vigilante and Eagly, getting a twofer comic.
Yes, and one of your favorite writers is writing it.
Tim Seeley. But
Mitch Gerards is doing the art.
Gerards is doing the art, and they use James Gunn as a point man on this one as well.
Yes. And he did say, although he originally implied that it would be canon, he came back and said it would not be canon.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I'm calling it canon. It's canon until it's not canon. That would make no sense to do. Like, it's literally the Vigilante from the show. That's like Peacemaker tries hard. That was not technically canon, was never meant to be, but it fits in canon just fine. Right. Just fine. Like, it's just stuff that happens off screen kind of deal. But I'm excited for this. Vigilante was hilarious, ridiculously funny.
I'm looking forward to him as much as Peacemaker in the second season.
Yeah. He was crazy. Absolutely nuts. So when is Peacemaker Season 2 projected to come out?
Oh, I want to say probably not until maybe like spring of next year, maybe.
But it's 2025 for sure, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if this one was a NYCC announcement or just like a regular solicitation announcement, but it was like the best news I've heard in a long time with comic books. This was by far my favorite comic book announcement that I think we've gotten all year long. If you're like me, you've been, as I said, a dehydrated Aquaman fan for a long time, buying weird crossovers and team ups and void songs and deep targets and stuff, just wondering why in hell Aquaman doesn't have an ongoing title, or at least ongoing run of miniseries or something, especially when he had a movie release and everything. But here we are. Not only is the King back, he's back with the King's treatment. John Timms will be illustrating this ongoing series, but most importantly, the golden boy of DC Comics, everyone's, admittedly, when you think about it, favorite DC Comics writer in most modern times, Jeremy freaking Adams is writing Aquaman. You couldn't ask for anything better.
You know what I'm realizing is Jeremy Adams is on like the Jeff Johns playing with DC. Like Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman.
Give him an event next.
Yeah.
Give this man an event. But I'm so excited about this. He did so much for Flash. And not only does he write stories, he's good at like correcting courses too, like things that you don't even think about and need correcting. He's the one that brought Wally back from Heroes in Crisis, who redeemed him casually without like crapping on what came before. He's currently doing Green Lantern, and he's rebuilt the core. Like he's rebuilt the mythos. It's just insane what's going on. That Green Lantern Civil Core was one hell of a ride, man. It was wild. And this is a great question. I'm glad you asked this. Evil Comic says, why does he have a lightsaber? He does not. That's a hard water sword. Like, you know how Atlanteans have different abilities. Mira has the ability to manipulate water. Aquaman's pretty much super strength and stuff. Due to the effects and the fallout of absolute power, some people's abilities are a little cattywampus is the scientific word for it. So
Wonky
that humdinger
is a medical term.
Yeah, and that humdinger in his hand is the whatchamajig that Mira would normally do, but now he's got a hold of the thing. So she's supposed to be powered up. They when their abilities were returned to him, some things got crisscrossed in the past.
But in the same month that this comes out, there will also be a story about it's called Justice League: The Atom Project, which is supposed to directly reference the fact trying to put people's powers back to where they were.
So this will be featuring 3 Atom-based characters. Atom meaning their names: Captain Atom, the Atom, and not to be confused with the Atom.
Right.
And that's going to be the Dr. Choi, Dr. Ray Palmer, and Captain Atom himself. I'm stoked about how much love Captain Atom is getting here. We got him in Jenny Sparks. He's supposed to be a main team member of the Justice League Unlimited, and now he's getting this miniseries. And what's the name of it? People of the Atom?
It is the Atom Project.
The Atom
Justice
Project.
League: The Atom Project.
And do we know who the artist is on this?
I do, but I forgot to be honest with you.
That's okay. I forgive you. I was just trying to give people good news before we broke their hearts. The bad news is this fantastic idea of a story here is being brought to us by the polar opposite of Jeremy Adams, John Ridley. So we'll see how this goes. I don't think John Ridley dropped the bag on that Amanda Waller Origins thing.
It is being co-written. I forgot to mention it's being co-written by Ryan Parrott.
Oh, Power Rangers.
And the art is being done by Mike Perkins.
That's why I remember Mike Perkins. Yeah. Perkins is fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike Perkins worked with Dan Jurgens on Batman The First Night recently.
Right. And he also did the miniseries. He did the Lois Lane series with, can't think of his name now. The guy who created Batwoman.
Bob Kane.
No. The most recent Batwoman.
From the New 52?
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know. I don't know.
He does very little on comics work anymore.
Now I'm curious. Batwoman. Edmund Hamilton. That's got to be the old one. That's the old one.
It was created by the writer and John H. Williams.
Yeah, Edmund Hamilton.
No. That's the old one.
That's the old one.
New
Katie 52.
Katie Kane.
Kate Kane, yeah. It had to be whoever's writing 52 because that's what you popped out. Greg Rucka, Jesus.
Greg Rucka, yes.
That was a rough one right there. Sorry, people.
We'll be with you guys in just a second. We have to figure this out first.
Now loading. Good guy. That was some things you got to get to the bottom of. Well, I was thinking in his absent time he was training to be a Jedi. Could be.
Oh, John's there.
What is going on? John's Comics with Kids. Glad to see you back and streaming again, Mark. Wishing your area of Georgia speedy recovery. Thank you, my man. Thank you so much. I hope it does too. But yeah, that was tons of great comic announcements. So those were the ones that really caught my attention as far as like the standard DC stuff goes. But now things get a little bit less standard. You know, with comic books, you always have more than meets the eye. We have our regular universe, and then you have your Elseworld stuff. And not just that, you have your black labels. And for a long time, we had an imprint that people came to know and love, and they did away with it. And you've had people like Paul talk about it. You have people like Taylor Winder, who brings it up regularly in conversations, but it's back. The DC Vertigo imprint is back, which has been famously known as DC's more mature line, the Sandman stuff was under Vertigo. Your Constantine Hellblazer stuff was under Vertigo, as well as so much other stuff. And not only is it back, they're going to retrofit Nice House by the Sea. Issues 1 through 3 are being rushed to reprint and being sent out to comic shops ASAP with a DC Vertigo imprint on them. So not only are they bragging about this being back as their mature line, they're also bragging about it coming back as their creator-owned line. And I don't know if that's just going to be the Tynan Nice House thing, because that started with Nice House on the Lake, which was a creator-owned deal that they gave Tynan. At the time, he was like the absolute hot boy in comics, writing like 50 different titles. And if you wanted him to stick with DC, they had to make that sweetheart deal. But I think it paid off, or they wouldn't have gone this route. But
yeah,
where you at?
I think I think the thing that pushed DC back to Vertigo was probably Ghost Machine.
You think so? Tell me more.
Yeah, but, I mean, how lucky would DC have been able to be if they were able to keep Jeff Johns in a creator-owned thing, and with all of those people that he brought on board, and do Ghost Machine as part of Vertigo?
Yeah, brought on board. He just took them all from DC.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know what? But then, if that was the case and he was doing Vertigo, then you could at least say, hey, Brian Hitch, every other month you need to finish your Lex Luthor story.
Yeah. It's not happening.
It's never happening.
It's never happening. We got one issue. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right, because how different would the world be if those exact same books released, and instead of the Image Eye, it was the DC Bullet. And just think about it. You think Jeff Johns, who's like that entire company is a love letter to DC, from the checker boxes to like the little endings to the books. I mean, he's a DC fanboy.
The Who's Who pages.
100% of Ghost Machine would not even exist without Jeff Johns being a DC fanboy.
Right.
So that would have been cool. I would have loved to seen DC catch that win as a company. They could have used it.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I hope the Ghost Machine team just does what's best for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you imagine what if they come back to DC? Because they didn't like their. I mean, the thing with Images, it's your stuff. They're just putting it out for you. They get their percentage to put it out. You can take it and go wherever you want to go with it.
Look at Mark Millar.
I do regularly. The guy's awesome. And speaking of that guy, he read Absolute Superman #1 and said that it was fantastic. Yeah, Vertigo. Yeah, those dumb Fs running DC. Yeah, it seems like they're like a little too late kind of thing, isn't it? But we'll see what happens. Like with that opportunity, it's not really just looking at what they have there with them. It's what kind of stuff is this going to bring to them.
Yeah, and I mean, and take a look. I mean, yeah, they made that sweetheart deal with James Tynion IV, but if Vertigo had been going right along, how cool would it have been to have had something that's killing the children as a Vertigo title, or whatever, Department of Truth.
Yeah, they got to look at just like the sheer number of these indie horror titles that come out all the time. And now you have a place for people to bring them. Boom does them, Image is doing them. That's like the majority of Image. It feels like is just like, but now DC has an imprint where people can bring those to them.
Right. And next we'll see Epic come back.
Sled says now they have to make titles that can live up to the name.
That's true.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Some of that stuff is iconic.
Yeah, but they still have. I mean, some of the writers that they still have still did some stuff back. I mean, Neil Gaiman could still do some stuff if he wanted to. Mark Russell did some stuff for Vertigo. He's kind of a perfect fit for Vertigo, I think. For a lot of they did. Cy Spurrier should just go to Vertigo.
Never come back.
Never come back.
I hate to say it because it sounds mean, but he's already doing the Constantine Road to Hell or whatever it's called. Yeah. Terrible.
Ron V, absolutely.
Ron V would crush it. You could get Ron V over there in a heartbeat. That's a good question. Is Black Label dead now? Black Label was never. Man, it was kind of its own thing, like in terms of like what it was meant to be. Not everything at Black Label is necessarily like a mature audience, but it's just Black Label's whole thing is prestige. We're going to get prestigious writers, prestigious artists, give you a prestigious format, and give them they're unshackled to continuity and just give you like a prestige story featuring this character kind of thing. So hopefully Black Label doesn't go anywhere. And I can't really see like Batman Gargoyle of Gotham, like, oh, put it under Vertigo now. Like I don't know if Vertigo is meant necessarily just to be mature or untethered to continuity. I don't know. I think we'll see it. We'll see somewhat of a different Vertigo because I think they're trying to take that creator-owned angle to it this time.
Right. It's funny. I mean, you take a look at DC and what have they done in the past couple of weeks, right? They brought back their Bullet. They brought back Vertigo. Right? They're going back to the 90s is what they're doing.
They're going back to what worked, yeah.
To what worked, Yeah,
why did we change it? Like it's one of those, if it ain't broke, progress doesn't always mean improvements. And like if I start taking this computer apart, that's progress, but I just broke my shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's more independent, more mature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. First thing I want to see is like a Swamp Thing Vertigo written by Rom V. Like, what's going on with Levi? You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen him pick up the Levi Kamei story in a while. Let's get that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be dope. Get Christian Ward to come do the art and just rack our brains on that for a while. What is going on? Exploring the Lost. See what else do I have in here? There's a lot of stuff. Absolute Wonder Woman has absolutely sold out. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Going to a second print. Sold out. Much like Absolute Batman did before it could even make it to shelves, it sold out at the distributor level, meaning that comic shops are unable to order any more copies. They've all already been ordered. Everything that DC printed for the title is gone and accounted for. So it's going to already call it for a second print. So expect at least 3-4 prints by the time that run is finished. This Absolute comic stuff has taken off, and it's a hit. It's a freaking hit. Absolute Batman was fantastic. Oh yeah. Oh my God. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Absolute or Gargoyle Gotham's massively delayed. They made an ash can for issue 3 before they made issue 3. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Although, I mean, at least they had the common sense to put off Batman Barbarian before it actually came out. It was delayed before issue 1 even came out. There was ads in every single comic for it, and it was like they did the interview on the back page.
That's crazy. That's one thing that they got to tighten up on. You can't have delays like this. It completely kills series. And even those mid-series break. Let's do a 12-issue series. We'll plan to take 3 months off after issue 6. No, you can't do that.
Right. Well,
make a 6-issue series, say to be continued, and give it longer than 3 months break.
But that's apparently what Hush 2 is going to be. If you look at the comments that I saw, by the way, on Flo Dameron's channel, if you look at the announcement, he says that they're going to do 6 issues, then take a break, and then do 6 more issues.
Exploring that y'all said, yo, what year did we work at Movie Stop? Ran into somebody today at Best Buy. I swore we worked with back in the day. Well, first off, I don't know who Exploring the Lost is by the name Exploring the Lost, but I can tell you when I worked at Movie Stop, but without knowing who Exploring the Lost is, can't tell you when we worked at Movie Stop. That's pretty cool if we worked together at Movie Stop. That was like one of my favorite jobs in the world. Frankly, I'll read anything Danny Warren Johnson does. Agreed. I have not read The Moon's Following Me yet. Sold out comics sound like such a farce when coming from DC or Marvel. Cliff has got such a chip on his shoulder these days. I'm so sad. So sad that Cliff is sad. Oh, what is going on, League? Dude, you changed your channel name up on me too much. Movie Stop for me was like 2011 to 2013. So that means that you worked there. Be in the tail end, the middle to the tail end of 2012. Yep. You know, it's a big deal when you see DC all in on AEW TV. Yeah, they do some pretty cool cross promotion, but they're owned by the same people when it comes to, I know Tony Khan, but like the networks.
Discovery,
Warner Brothers, yeah.
And they're doing the cross promotion. They're doing those 2 or 3 page AEW spotlights written by Steve Orlando in the back of every comic.
In the back of DC, they've had like Swerve Strickland in there, Tony Storm, Will Ospreay
was the last one.
Cool stuff. Do it like Sandman did back in the day. New artists, every arc, break it up, be sensible. Wasn't kidding when I said bring back Berger.
Karen Berger, absolutely.
Vertigo needs a great editor. Yeah. Hope you had fun this weekend, Izzy. Man, it looked like a good time. It looked like a good time. Copy, thank you for agreeing. I'll take more AEW comics. Nice. They aren't releasing AEW DC freebies in the UK.
Oh,
Bummer.
no.
They're just included in the DC comics.
Yeah.
They're not separate. Like they're in the back pages
very
of
back.
of like most everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think it was like most everything. Do I have an open book? I don't have anything open. I'm trying to open nothing. I'd say I don't want to see superheroes within Vertigo. Maybe Mini Sandman and Hellblazer, but focus on indies like Y-Man. Yeah, I forgot about that. Like Y-Man, Fables.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fables.
Yeah, well, they're not getting Fables back. Bill Willingham can't stand them.
Oh, but we've gotten like Batman and Bigsby in like the Gotham series they did.
Yeah. But yeah, Why the Last Man was one of the best series ever, I think.
I still haven't read that. I need to go back and read that. I still haven't finished Fables. I'm reading that so slow. Just finished putting all the absolute carnage together. What should I do next as a full series? That's a great read. Ooh. Depends on if you want Marvel, DC, independent. If you're looking for stuff that's already completed that you can just grab and read. What are you feeling? You feeling superheroes? You feeling like a lot of horror stuff is popular right now?
Yeah, if they really want to kick off, I think if they really want to kick off Vertigo, and have people talk about it, I would picture that would be where Grant Morrison's next story comes out.
That would make sense. That would make sense. Let's see what's next on the hit list for tonight. We got a lot of stuff. Speaking of absolute comics, that's where we're at. Wonder Woman comes out this coming week, Superman 2 weeks after that, and then we're just going to be riding with the Trinity for a while until March. We got our next slot of releases coming in March, and they gave us a little tease at that. They gave us Flash, Green Lanterns, and Martian Manhunter. Mm-hmm. Wally West will be our Flash. We got a couple of pages that it showed us from that. It looked awesome. We got to look at a couple of his rogues, including Captain Cold. Looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really like it. We didn't really get too much other than there was some black and white pages for Flash, but we didn't really get anything other than a cover, I don't think, for Green Lantern, when I remember.
I saw color pages for each.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And if you make sure you turn on that notification bell, there will be an in-depth video on what we know about these series so far. But we got 4 pages from Flash, no word bubbles, and then we also got 3 pages counting the cover, so 2 pages maybe from Green Lantern, where you see a younger teenage Joe looking up at the sky as a giant lantern symbol falls to Earth and crashes. It says that the Green Lantern one will feature Joe Mullen, Hal Jordan, John Stewart as kind of an ensemble cast book, and that it'll be more of a horror tone and vibe, which I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm excited that Joe is there, and I'm excited that they're not sidelining Hal Jordan or John Stewart to do it. If you want a successful Green Lantern book, you got to have your successful Green Lanterns. We all want to see an ensemble cast. That's what Green Lantern is. That's why you show up. You know, you love the characters, but you want to see big cosmic scale stuff. That's when it works its best. You know, dip into the little personal stories here and there, but you got to let the readers know how vast the mythos of Green Lantern stuff is. And it looks like they're going to let us know right off the get-go. But the most interesting,
I would say, and this is probably where you're going, but they've said that, I mean, although there have been deviations from obviously the origins, they have said that really Martian Manhunter is probably going to be the biggest deviation from what people might expect.
Yeah, that was the biggest. Hey, I need to know more about this. Mm-hmm. Denny
Camp, right? Denny's Camp, right? Sorry.
Is going to be writing this one, but the art is where it gets you. Look at this abstract take on John Jones here, like with the color prisms and stuff. And I love the shape of the head and like the one eye. Like that's kind of what's cool. What's like gets me most invested, most excited about this absolute universe is the deviations, is the changes, and like we know these characters, so show us something different. And you know, we got green Martians and white Martians, and what is this? The kaleidoscope Martian from Mars here, and I don't know. That looks interesting to me. And we got we didn't get any pages from the inside of this one. We did get a couple of like character, what is it, like design sheets, design sheets. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, see, Brother John's in, very on board for the Martian Manhunter. I want the Flash book to be good so bad. I've missed a good Flash book, so we all. They sat there and gave us Jeremy Adams Flash,
Right.
and then hard stopped and gave us Cy Sperrier's something. Makes no sense. No sense. Flash looks awesome. Green Lantern is interesting, but Martian Manhunter 6, weird as hell, but I'm down for it. Let's see. It doesn't matter. Just a great read. Don't matter superhero or anything. Let's go DC. Have you read Batman Hush? I would say that's an important one to read right now. It's a good one. Batman Hush, Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee. It's not overly long. One fat boy volume will get you through it, but it's one of the best modern Batman stories, and it's going to be super relevant because Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. Paul told us this months and months ago, at least 6 months ago, when he picked up the deluxe hardcover special edition for Hush. They had bonus pages added to this one, and what it was a bonus page for something called Puzzle or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was like a 4 or 5 page epilogue that they did,
and it ended with what?
To be continued.
To be continued. So this, if you read your stuff and pick up those, why would I need a hardcover? I've got a hardcover because this one had extra pages. But what they've done is they've actually been working together for a long time already in quiet. Like they were working together for a long time before that hardcover came out to plan this, to get those pages done for the hardcover. And they kept working together. Jim Lee's a busy man. Jeff Loeb is a legend. So they didn't want, when this new follow-up, this new next story chapter for this Batman Hush, what's turning out to be like this long saga now, they didn't want it to face delays, especially with their jobs being so busy. So they've been working in secret for a long time so that they can, when it comes out next year, it comes out. Right.
And if you haven't read it, they're going to reprint every issue again with foil, apparently, because they got to do everything with foil nowadays. But you can walk into any store pretty much and get a collected, some sort of collected version of Hush. It's going to be part of. It's not going to be its own miniseries, which kind of puts more pressure on them to keep it on track. It's easier to delay a miniseries than it is to say, oh, you know what, Batman issue number 158 came out, 4 months ago. Where's 159? Type of a thing. So, but it starts in Batman number 158. So Chip Zdarsky's run will end with 157 or 156. I don't know. I think it's 157.
Will it end or just take a pause?
Who knows? Because, like I said, what I got out of what Flo had posted, the announcement, Jim Lee, I could have sworn Jim Lee specifically said we're going to do 6 issues, take a break, do 6 more issues. So maybe it'll be Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, and then maybe it'll be back to Chip, and then back again.
Now, if you think about it, with them not, like, DC's not going to be doing big events for a little while here. The big events are the existence of the Absolute line of comics. The big event is the return of the ongoing Justice League title, big event return of Aquaman. These aren't small titles. These are flagship characters, flagship titles. Just them coming back, the level of story which will be happening for continuity's sake is going to be pretty massive. So they're out of the woods for a while with doing events, which we can talk about events.
Yeah, and they've also almost set up too.
I need to do a video on events.
And they've also
naysayers out there about.
And they've also almost set up the universe now that if they do want to do events, they can almost do it as part of the Justice League Unlimited title, because
where an event should take place. Because
exactly.
Why does the Justice League exist?
They've already mentioned, the Green Lanterns. They mentioned they have a wing in the Watchtower. Mm-hmm. JSA has a wing in the Watchtower. Obviously, the Justice League does. And they basically said, Mark Waid has said, every DC character is open to show up in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah. So with them not having necessarily these big crossover events at the standard that we're used to seeing them, these writers need breaks. Typically they'll get they might get a month with an annual comes out, might get a month with a fill-in artist or something like that. But I can see this being a strategy because, they've been, these Batman books were coming out twice a month for a while. Right. It was coming out fast. I don't know.
And they were supposed to, and they ended up, Chip Zdarsky's current run, his current arc was supposed to come out bi-weekly. And then they pushed it off to monthly so that they could get to 158 for Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. I don't get it. I felt like they just wanted to go out of their way to get the Batman books numbers higher than the Superman title numbers. Like Action
Yeah,
Comics is the longest running comic book,
right.
but DC
Detective
Comics, Detective
Detective
Comics,
Comics has the run on it, has the number
yeah,
on it though.
they intentionally surpassed it, and they did it 2 years ago with the Shadows of the Bat.
Right.
It came out every week for 12 weeks straight. But God, that was
Yeah.
such a fun little run. That was
Yeah.
still Mariko Tamaki stuff.
We
They had Ivan Reis do the art, and I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who did those painted covers. It was ridiculously
yeah.
good.
I think they did. I mean, if you want to go way back,
Let's go.
I think what they did was, if you remember back in the '80s, they made Action Comics weekly. That moved the number of Action Comics beyond Detective Comics because they wanted Superman to have the first number 500 and
Yeah.
or 1000. But now Batman is really kind of a bigger character, so now they move
Watch
Batman.
it, Paul. Watch it,
I'm
Paul.
just saying,
Watch
for
it,
just
Paul.
I like Superman better, but from a sales standpoint, Batman is,
Yeah.
and also
Batman pays the bills.
Detective Comics was the first comic, was before Action Comics. So, but if you notice too, they're doing legacy numbering on Green Lantern, on Flash, on Wonder Woman, on all of those. So,
Hopefully, Aquaman will have it as well.
yeah, I think Green
I'm so
Lantern is only
excited to
like
have an
17
Aquaman
issues
title
from
back.
600, I think.
Oh my gosh, we're getting Aquaman back with John Tim and Jeremy Adams. That's such great news.
Mm-hmm.
Great Legend Show. Join the chat. Good to see you, homie. Let's see what else is on the hit list here. We got some stuff. Looks like we're moving into the big one. We're not getting big crossover events and continuity, but the biggest crossover event of the year happened this past year. And man, oh man, was it a blast. I'm normally an A cover guy. I went all in on covers. I got the B cover, the Z cover. I got the ratio covers. I got the roaring covers. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong was by far the guilty pleasure event for me of the year. And about halfway through it, me and Paul talked about it. We're getting a second one. It was selling so well. It hit multiple audiences. The Monsterverse fans come out. They participate. They show up. They showed out. They were not just buying it. They were participating in social media, having a blast reading it. So you got to get another one. And they officially announced it. So we're getting part 2 of that. We already see that King Ghidorah is in the mix. It looks like potentially Suicide Squad characters there, but I mean, you also got Lex Luthor in the middle, but that straight up looks like the Suicide Squad to me.
Yeah, and it's so big. It's. I mean, they didn't really. They just said it's coming next year. They didn't say when, but it's got its own trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. They stopped the legacy numbering after 3 months on those titles. They still keep up with it, but I do like it when they keep it on the actual title. I don't have like any, dude. I had so many books pile up here because every week I'm like, maybe Power will come back, maybe Power will come, and it never did. I don't have any standard books right here. I just have All In, Absolute. That's it.
So it's got the legacy numbering.
You think they'll keep it there for a little bit longer?
I think so.
Who knows?
Yeah, they did do the legacy numbering for a little while. They usually what happened is they started on like an anniversary number, like they did Flash 800, and they kept it on 1, 2, 3, and then they dropped it again.
Oh, okay.
But now it seems like they're going back to it again, because they had Wonder Woman.
It's the start of All In, so they might just be doing it for the start of All In. Oh my God, that Wonder Woman issue! Holy potatoes! What is going on in House of L Comics? We got a couple more things to get to. Then we're going to talk about a few of the comics, guys. Again, like it's been 3 weeks since I've been here, so I'm just going to really touch on like some of the more standout ones. But moving over to our viewing media, there's been Penguin's been rocking and rolling. Episode 4 dropped. I'm not going to rehash episodes 1 through 3. Paul and Brother John did a phenomenal job of that, but episode 4 was something special. We got the backstory of Sophia. We see her from like the loving, favored child daughter to being a danger to her father's operation, how quick he would turn on her and have her thrown in Arkham, and the suffering she went through in Arkham and coming out the other side, sadistic and crazy to the point of exterminating her entire family, save for one member, and taking the realm of the Falcone crime family. It was absolutely amazing. Her performance is stellar. This woman deserves the Emmy now. Like, go ahead and give it to her. Go ahead and give it to Colin Farrell. No reason to even pretend anybody else is even eligible against these two performances. And not only that, turned out to be the highest rated television episode that exists on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy good show.
Yeah. Did you see the one of the top 10 books on Key Collector was Man of Steel number 3 or number 4, I think.
Magpie.
Because Magpie, that's the first appearance of Magpie.
Yes. Yeah, that was a cool little drop. I love that they don't just like do random people. Like you have characters you can use. And I thought that she killed her, man, with a lunch tray, but I guess she'll be all right. That was pretty funny. That was wild. Just man, it was a great episode. It wasn't my favorite episode, but her performance, I think last episode 3 was my personal favorite episode. It just
the Victor episode?
Yes, man. Yes.
But you see a lot of different things from a different perspective that happened in episode 3. You see him in episode 4 now. You see what happened, why Oz drove away with Victor, and said basically,
that's out of the bag.
Leave her.
We're in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really good. I'm excited. Show airing right now. I'll be watching it as soon as this stream is over. Well, shortly after this stream is over. But yeah, can't wait. I'm not a fan of the legacy numbering with all the reboots, limited series, and restarts. The continuity is broken. No point legacy numbering. Free to disagree. Not. Yeah, there's been times when continuity gets broken and stuff, but I think the legacy numbering is definitely important. For companies like DC, I think it helps in the fact that they've gotten to this routine of doing initiatives. Like you've had the New 52, you've had the Rebirth, you've had the Infinite Frontier, you've had the Dawn of DC, we're in the All In. So you're kind of like benchmarked by those initiatives where you don't have, it really keeps you from getting lost in continuity kind of thing. And also, it's like I said, I can't remember what the video topic was, but you can't blame the medium for starting almost 100 years ago. Some things are going to be unique to this medium that we love that isn't going to happen in other mediums. These characters have been around 85 years. Like you can't expect one seamless ongoing story. It hits a point where you gotta do something. But yeah, I like them having the number ones on like the jump on points. But I like seeing that legacy number there because Action Comics earned it. Detective Comics earned it. These comics earned it by being beloved, iconic characters that resonate with people that have been dead now for 60 years. You know what I'm saying? These characters earned those numbers. Amazing Fantasy did not.
Marvel is just like, let's just do a 1 millionth episode issue. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
I like it. I like it more as a novelty than a utility, if that makes sense. Yeah. But it's a badge of honor that these characters earned. But yeah, I completely agree. There's no way of looking at this legacy numberings and having because I don't know, because you have like spin-off series and side stories and tie-ins, and you'll never be able to keep up with continuity just off legacy numbering. You'd have to get some kind of extra resource. If you were completely green and you just came in like, I want to read all of it in sequential order, like you couldn't do that just by grabbing that one book and just counting the numbers. You'd have to.
And that's what I mean. I haven't done the working, but like Green Lantern, like it's number 583 legacy, but that should only be issues that were titled Green Lantern. It shouldn't include Green Lantern Rebirth. It shouldn't include Green Lantern Emerald Dawn. It shouldn't, even though those were like miniseries that presaged the ongoing series. They weren't Green Lantern. They weren't titled Green Lantern. So to me, those should not be part of that.
Yeah. Well, for Amazing Fantasy, they just counted everything they had, everything. Right. Not even their own books. Like we got this DC book laying here. Count it too. They had. I think I counted it up, and I believe there's only like 50 something total Amazing Fantasy issues in existence.
Yeah,
unique books. But that's because it didn't go forever. They've just done little specials. But what did you say? Do you think they did? Like they counted like had it come out monthly for that long, this would have been the 1000th issue?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it only went on one issue after Amazing 15, I think.
Yeah, but then they had like just different little one shots or special editions. Or here recently they did that miniseries Amazing Fantasy that was literally like a fantasy title. I think Ari Andrews worked on it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was called Amazing Adult Fantasy at one point.
Speaking of the House of Ideas, and by House of Ideas, of course, I'm talking about HBO. Dune Prophecy had a brand new trailer drop. And, I was kind of really excited for this already because this is just a fantastic franchise. But this new trailer sent me overboard. I just watched it about an hour before this stream. Have you seen the trailer?
Yes, next month it comes out, right? November.
November
That's right.
17th. Easy to remember for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that trailer looked insane. We get an idea of the story. The Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, their sole purpose for existing is to kind of evolve mankind, to kind of be the key players, shakers, and movers that take society forward. And they do it inside their own sisterhood, so other people don't know of what they're doing. It seems like we have this rogue guy who's keen on what they're doing and wants to stop them at all costs, wants to shut them down. And I couldn't help but get a vibe that he's like a failed Kitsak Hatterack, or however you say it, project. Like he's a failed attempt at Paul Atreides. You know how they're like selectively breeding people without their knowing, like matchmakers and stuff. Let's put this ruler with this woman and we'll get a child, and maybe this child will be the one that we want. It wasn't quite there. We'll take that child and we'll match him with this person. I feel like he's like a failed attempt at that, but he's coming to burn it down. And he's using Mark Strong, who I think is going to be like House Carino, and we'll be following his house mainly, and coming for the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, being that this takes place a few generations before the House Atreides gets to where it is in the films. We clearly know it ain't going to work, but man, it looks like one hell of a ride. Very excited for this. And it's coming fast. So by the time Penguin ends, we'll be jumping right into this. So HBO is on their game. It looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the timing was perfect for the Denny V Dune stuff, at a time when sci-fi fans are out there in mass. People love sci-fi. And at a time where like some of the most beloved sci-fi stuff just isn't coming out or isn't really favored by the fan base, you deliver Dune and do Dune in a way that's received by a wide audience, and just, man. And it's great seeing it get a TV show as well, because it's a long wait to that final movie, Messiah. So this is good. And if this is good, it can go on. HBO tends to get a handful of seasons out of successful projects. I think you're supposed to skip the last season if anything you truly love at HBO, though. I think that's how that works. Yeah, I'm excited for it. You ready for the oddball? I'm still trying to figure out what to do about this next one. Should I do a video kind of getting into it? Should we do it like a stream, just a really late stream? Whenever a movie comes out, we like to do a stream and have a couple extra guests on to discuss the film. But it's one that I'm still not sure how many people saw or how many people want to see it. But it was definitely one I wasn't going to miss. And that was the release of a brand new Hellboy film. Brand new Hellboy film, The Crooked Man. Low budget film compared to the previous three. With a budget of only $25 million, this movie was made based on a story called The Crooked Man that takes place in the 1950s in the Appalachian Mountains, meaning that you have no budget. You don't need a budget. Your set is the woods, and you don't have any technology, being in 1950s and stuff like that. So they can spend what they had on like the Hellboy effects. You had a brand new actor playing Hellboy by the name of Jack Kelsey or something like that. Did a fantastic job. He looked fantastic. The story was more of a horror tone, and it turned out to be really, really impressive. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, pun intended. I gave it a solid 7 out of 10, which puts it at like right at a yellow green. It's good. Don't rush to necessarily go see it, but find time eventually to check it out. Don't write it off. Yes, yeah, I really like The Crooked Man, dude. I really don't want to try to like push it too hard or knock it too hard. It's such an anomaly of a movie. It had a theatrical run set for it that was canceled at the last minute and set a streaming date. And I'm not going to lie to anybody. I watched it for free. So like with my limited service abilities, I noticed on YouTube, like, this movie came out, and I was looking around for it to see if I could buy or rent it on YouTube. And it was only available on one streaming platform that I couldn't download it off of. And I found it on YouTube for free. Downloaded it, and that night I watched it here at home. The next day it was gone from where it was ripped off YouTube. Found another one, watched it again, and enjoyed it so much that I since went back and I bought it on Fandango at home. So I've paid my $25 for it, and I'm hoping that it gets a physical release. Not sure if it will, But I'm gonna have to find a physical copy somehow to put in the collection because I really enjoyed it. A lot of crossover for horror fans. All right, here's Fryer. But yeah, it was shockingly good because I expected it to be utter garbage. But it was solid. It was really solid. And I don't want to use the term for the budget, but the director knew how to work with the budget that he had. And the actor who played Hellboy did damn good. Second best Hellboy. He definitely did better than David Harbour. Where can you see it? Fandango at Home, aka Voodoo. I think it's exclusive to their platform for the first few weeks, and then it'll be available on all platforms. Right now, you can only buy it, I think. When it first came out, you could only buy it for the first 2 weeks, but it should be getting close to the time that you can rent it. But I'd suggest just buying it. Support the thing. Support it. But it was solid. I'm assuming, Paul, you haven't watched it.
I have not seen it, no.
It's okay. It's okay. Because now it's do we even do an Agatha segment on the show? I haven't been here in a while.
We have the past 2 weeks. I've been keeping up on them.
Well, I appreciate you. I stopped. I stopped when we lost power, and I was like, I'm not because it's been a task to find service to be able to download something to watch it and stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing all that.
DV8 says it's coming out in December on Blu-ray.
It wasn't really whiny, pretty close to the comics. Yeah, he did good. What is going on, Esteban? Yeah, well, what you want to Agatha?
It was all about Joe Locke's character. We found out who put the sigil on him. We get confirmation, as if we needed any confirmation, that he is, actually
Wanda's kid.
Wanda's kid. It was
Did
alright. Basically,
Mephisto make him or put the lock on him?
No.
Have they done anything with Mephisto?
Patty LaPone did it. Patty LaPone put it on him.
Who the hell is Patty LaPone?
She's one of the witches that's on the road.
Which one is she?
She's the she was the like the medium, the one that could had the crystal ball and see the future.
The older lady?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Why'd she put that on them?
He went to a he didn't know who he was. He thinks it was James Kaplan, I think was his last name. And he was living with his family, and so that's who he was and everything. And he went to his bar mitzvah, and at the bar mitzvah they had these different, entertainment, and she happened to be one of them. And when he went in there, she saw that he had 2 lifelines. And so that's who she realized who he was. So she gave him a little, like they do the little tiles. I can't think what they call them now, but they do little tiles with the little with the numbers on them. Not dominoes.
Scrabble.
The Japanese ones. No, the Japanese ones where you have to pair them up and everything. Anyway, so she gave him a little tile that had the sigil on it. And basically, that basically made him not able to tell people who he was, and you've got the plot at least. I am destroying this, aren't I? Which is why I'm only watching it for this. I'm only watching it for this show, so I can at least somehow.
It speaks volumes how good it is.
Exactly.
She figured out who he was, and why'd she shut him up?
Because she didn't want people to know. And she didn't want him to realize it either. So, this is exactly why Mark does all the comic synopsizing on DC Comics Deep Dive.
Let me ask you this, Paul. I'm not asking Cliff.
Okay.
Do you recommend this show to other people?
I could see where people would really enjoy it. I'm just not invested in Agatha at all, so it really does nothing for me. But I'm still watching it. But I could see where people might enjoy it. Yeah, she was trying to protect him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, real quick, guess that key. I gotta go check on the kids. They just yelled for me.
Okay. I guess that key is coming up this coming Wednesday. As I mentioned before, we have Brother John's Comics, and we have Dale of Suspense. We also will be giving away some comics as well. We just happen to be giving away the same comic that Mark is giving away tonight. This is the Batman Day Long Halloween #1. We're giving away the all-in DC Bullet foil variant. We're giving away one of the DC All-In Daniel Sampier foils. This is actually from Batman and Robin number 14, the first issue written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And we're giving away Absolute Batman number 1, the foil logo variant. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday night. It is at 9:30 on my channel. Controversy, you're always welcome. You'd be surprised some of the comics that are actually in Key Collector Comics. So just look through there. You'd be surprised what you would find in there. So, and then after that, we will have Cliff on. Cliff will be on the show after that. With Seabizzle. So we already got our next 2 shows lined up for us. So don't forget also we have DC Comics Deep Dive coming up a week from tomorrow. We're going to cover the end of Absolute Power and DC All In. And then the following week we will get into Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman. And then the following week after that we'll do Absolute Superman. So lots of good stuff coming along. So aggressively relaxing. Thank you for joining us. While Mark's not here, we can talk about Star Trek, although he's getting into Star Trek too. But
Star Trek
we actually Lower Decks this week. Brand new episode from season 5 starts this week. Lots of stuff was announced this weekend at New York Comic Con. They had they had another trailer from Strange New Worlds season 3. If you know, that's already been renewed for season 4, but they had an extended clip that basically showed them fighting the Gorn, and then they had remotely from, I believe it's Toronto. I believe that's where Star Trek films, Paramount Plus. But they also talked about Star Trek Starfleet Academy. That's coming out, and even though it is not even finished, they just finished filming season 1. It's already been renewed for season 2, and we got a date for Star Trek Section 31 with a new trailer as well. So lots of Star Trek news came out from Paramount Plus. So,
yeah, didn't they announce a movie or something called Nacelle or something like that?
Section 31, which is Section 31, which is Michelle Yeoh. She was actually on Discovery in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So her movie is coming out. It's been completed for a little while now. They actually, I don't recall the date, but they gave a date for it as well. So, but the next thing is going to be Star Trek Lower Decks season 5 final season starts this week.
Fantastic.
Paramount Plus.
Well, is that good or bad?
It's bad because it's a really good show. It's going to continue in the comics, but it is just hysterical. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't started because I feel like I don't have enough under my belt to appreciate it, kind of thing. Yeah. Nacelle will be dropping new Star Trek toys. Did you pick up one of the Alex Ross Star Treks?
The issue 500? Yeah, he did issue 500. I got it.
The Gold Key homage?
Yeah.
Dude, It was amazing. I was watching it on Durz's Whatnot streams. I'm like, man, I picked up some stuff. I got the Dick Sprang homage. I'm like, yeah, of course I need that. That's amazing. And then I picked up the Batman 1 homage. Yeah. I didn't get the Spotlight variant.
Yeah, I got all 3 of those, and then I got the Star Trek 500.
Yeah, he did a surprise drop with some old stock. He had a few of the San Diego Comic-Con, the World's Finest, and the 2 World's Finest ones.
And the Batman one he had too, right? The purple Batman with the Neil Adams homage that he did, right?
I don't know if he dropped any of those. I only saw that he sent me a picture, said that he's got a few of those left that he'd be selling today, but I can't go crazy. I bought a very little bit of stuff. I got some stuff off Durz's Whatnot that I was able to get for I got a Ghost Machine. What was it? No, I got Geiger number 1 because he was selling stuff out of the warehouse too, you know. Geiger number 1, the 1 per store thank you, which is, the explosion in the air with the skull, the first Geiger, where it all began. It's a black and white cover, is a 1 per store thank you, but I bought it, and because Durz is the homie, he took it to the Ghost Machine booth the next day and got it signed by all 4, nice. Rob Lee, Brad Anderson, Jeff Johns, and Gary Frank. So it's signed by everybody who worked on it. I'm like, this kid, Durz. Love me some Durz. It was awesome of him. But yeah, dude, Durz was putting in the work, man. he makes it fun too, because he's an enthusiastic guy, and that platform works so well for him.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Yo, the McFarlane announcements. That's a whole nother that get me going.
Mm-hmm.
They finally announced the George Clooney Batmobile and showed it. Ryan is coming. Guy Gardner is coming. Power Girl is finally coming. They're doing the Justice League Task Force Wave, which is the old video game with Aquaman, which I really want because he's got his like hair like flowing in the air like he's underwater. Superman, Batman, Flash, and it's a Build-A-Figure Dark Side, and it's a better looking Dark Side than that last one they did. They all have like this metallic chrome paint color scheme to them kind of thing. The DC Superpower line is getting the next wave, which I can't remember who all was in it. But
They had a 3-pack. They had a 3-pack of the Justice Society, Alan Scott, Hourman, and Starman.
Yep. And then the Batman v Superman figure wave just dropped, and I was able to pre-order those. Dude, McFarlane is crushing it right now. McFarlane is doing what he does best, and that's being the leader of a toy empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's untouchable. Yo, did you see the clip of him in the Comic Tom interview where he paused just to thank Tom for I'm like, dude, that's like the absolute greatest compliment that you can give anybody as a collector or a fan. Like that their contribution to the hobby is helping the hobby by getting more people and excited about comic. Like, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I'd love to see him sitting next to, some other people whose their way of pushing the hobby is to tell people how bad it is.
That'd be hilarious. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you even here?
Durs was able to meet McFarlane in person.
Nice.
McFarlane got up out of the chair at the Whatnot booth because it was where Durs was sitting next. So they were able to talk for a few minutes and like all that. Durs said, I was so excited. I didn't even think to take a picture. I'm like, that's because it was a real experience, my man. Right. Like when you're in the pocket, you don't say, hold on, hold that thought. Let me get it. No, you just enjoy it. Spawn 77. Yeah, that looked pretty fun. Little like a young man Spawn kind of thing or something, or I don't know. Are there any books that stand out to you, Paul? Or the last?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you what came out this week. I will say Miller World is kicking ass and taking names. I want to start with that. The next Nemesis came out fantastic. Prodigy came out fantastic. Nightclub came out fantastic. Most importantly, the return of my all-time favorite Miller World book, and it's the finale to it, Jupiter's Legacy. That ended on a cliffhanger years ago, and it came back and picked up in that moment. And like I stood there and read it at the counter in ABX with Paul right there, and he was like watching me like freak out and have to drop the book. Like there are numerous book drop moments for me. I was on cloud 9. The name of that book being Jupiter's Legacy is so fitting, and we're kind of coming back full circle and getting. They introduced the idea of like where these powers came from has been a mystery from jump. If you watch the TV show, like they found like this clear indicator of an alien presence, but it doesn't get into anything about the aliens or how it got there. What are these aliens? It doesn't show the aliens, but at the end of issue 1, it shows you the teaser that they're here kind of thing. And I can't wait. And dude, thank you, Cliff. Dude, it was such a moment. Like you got to think like from where this book starts, the character it starts with, we're now the grandkids are wearing their uniform, holding their dads. Like it's the legacy thing. Like this, like Stan Lee talked about, like these characters were never meant just to be the same age for 80 years. They were meant to grow up. People are meant to die. That's what Jupiter's Legacy is. And it is, for better or worse, sometimes it hurts, but it creates these moments that you don't get in anything else like it. And I'm absolutely loving every minute of it. And I want to go back and just burn through and read them again, just because like that's how excited I was after that first issue. But yeah, it was something special for me. But Miller World, I'm going to say it all the time, highly recommend every bit of it. Sharky's okay. The rest of it, amazing. Recommend every bit of it. Magic Order's back too for its final season. Good God, that's a good book.
Yeah, he's definitely, pumping out the content with his change move to Dark Horse.
And we know we got more stuff coming as well. Like Huck Volume 2 hasn't even come out yet. Jupiter's Legacy was a fun show. Totally called the brother being a bad guy in the first episode. Yeah, he's got a face, doesn't he? He's got the face. Yeah, if you think he was bad in that show, read the first trade. Dude, he is He is 10 times the bad guy in the good God. They saved it for the final episode reveal. But yeah, it was the book's so much more rough than the show. Same basic plot though. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Other books that came out, the DC All-In Special, I will say, is probably the most important book that DC released all year long. It was an oversized one-shot that came out at this point, I guess, 3 weeks ago. I've read it numerous times. Couldn't get enough of it. It's a flip book.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Sampier's art is undefeated.
Right.
Undefeated as interior artist on an ongoing kind of title. But we get to see like the creation of the absolute world in there. Darkseid's rampage to go get the Spectre that killing people on Apocalypse, raided hell and destroyed hell to the point of them giving him information, then went to heaven and did the same thing, faced off with Eclipse on the dark side of the moon, and didn't care. Like, it just shows you like a dark side that doesn't care is just as deadly as a Superman that doesn't care. Like, it was
Just going back to the Daniel Sampier too. It also is a nice little bookend because Joshua Williamson and Daniel Sampier did Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was kind of the thing that started the whole. I mean, yeah, there was Infinite Frontier and all those things, but really, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths was the thing that started everything. That kind of snowballed into what ended up being Absolute Power, and now they're kind of ending it and going into the All In. So it was kind of a nice little bookend of the two of them.
It was. It really was. But it was cool seeing how it all plays out. The Miracle Machine was a nice little homage there. When that thing comes out, you know it's Big Guns type story. But it was just really good. There were so many Easter eggs to DC continuity and stuff in it. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, and the flip side is done by Wes Craig, who I thought actually, for the style that they're going for the Absolute Universe, I actually think it works pretty well.
I think it worked well for a Darkseid story, especially. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of any of the Wes Craig covers that came out recently. Like, it's just he's kind of rough, kind of a rough artist, but that works for when you're on Apocalypse or when you're dealing with Spectre or Eclipse. So there's characters that work better with different art styles, and I think they worked. It was actually really good in that sense. But it almost has like a 1950s vibe to it, maybe 60s.
Yeah. And he's Absolute Wonder Woman, I believe, right?
I don't think so. I mean, he drew all three of them.
No, Hayden Sherman is Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't think he's on any of the ongoing titles. He just did that book. Because Rafa Sandoval is Superman.
You're right. Yep.
He had like the West had like the C, or he had one of the covers. Yeah, because there's a lot of them. But yeah, I'm avoiding listening to all your all-in special spoilers because I have not read it yet. My adopted comic daddy has sent it to me, and I shall read it soon. And after you read it, be sure to watch that video I posted that has a lot of little details in it as well. My first video I did when I got internet back was on that. I was itching to talk about it. I really dig Wes Craig work. Also, Kaya is excellent. I haven't checked that one out. He has his moments where it's really good and sometimes it's not. Yeah, again, I think it's just the character stuff. But yeah, that got us into the Absolute world. It showed you the creation of it, and I loved the tie-in that went back all the way to Death Metal, which was also written by Scott Snyder. The Alpha world, the Else world, the Absolute world, Scott Snyder Batman, the Absolute Batman, that world was created by Scott Snyder himself in January of 2021. That's when it was published. And that world was published. That was like just the moment. I'm like, thank you. Look at that. Look at that. Remember back when everyone was getting pissed off? If everything matters, nothing matters. It looks like y'all were wrong. That is such a moment. Like, that is amazing.
You should get a t-shirt that says that. Looks like y'all were wrong.
This is what it means that everything matters.
Yeah.
Read your comics. It was so awesome. But yeah, Absolute Batman was a treat. I'm sure everyone's talked about Absolute Batman till they're blue in the face. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm excited for issue 2. We got the first look at the Batmobile or the Bat dump truck or whatever you want to call it. Shared that on my IG page. Issue 2's coming in hot and fast. Will be an ash can available. Very limited numbers. I don't know how many will be going out to places, but ash cans will be out in LCSs this week. Unfortunately, the Wonder Woman one is coming out the same day that the actual Wonder Woman book is. I think they held it back to time it with NYCC. But Absolute Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman issue 2 is getting an ash can that'll be out this coming week. So I'm excited to get those in hand.
And Absolute Batman 1 is now a 4th print, I believe, right? But Absolute Batman 1, I can say Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman 1 are also getting the noir editions as well.
Hashtag black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Which just means that they can pay the colorist less.
Yeah. Cutting corners at every chance. I do want to point out, if you're not reading Tom King's Wonder Woman, you're missing out on a moment in time. Mm-hmm. This most recent issue, keep in mind, people, this is a spoiler stream, but this most recent issue is the first issue back since the event took over for 2 issues, but we dive right back into the Sovereign story. And this is the issue that Tom King went to social media stating would be a controversial issue. It's also the issue where we get the origin of Trinity. The questioned origin of Trinity has been going on for over a year. Who is this child of Wonder Woman's? Who's the father? What's the circumstances? Where did she come from? And we've been getting a lot of backup stories with Trinity as a kid, hanging out with the Super Sons and stuff, which have been pretty cool. And we finally get the definitive answer to our question. And it's a beautiful moment built around tragedy. That's the only way to say it. The Sovereign is a very impressive kind of villain to write for Wonder Woman, because it's not sheer muscle, it's not sheer mind power. It's just how far you're willing to go kind of character. And the Sovereign's thrown one thing after the other at Wonder Woman, tried to break her physically, mentally, her spirit, her mind, and now they came to break her heart. Mm-hmm. And pretty much call Steve Trevor into their facility, and he goes there not under no false pretense, but not really knowing why he's going here to what he needs to do. And he walks in and just gets shot point blank, no words, no questions, no nothing. Just he gets killed. Steve Trevor is officially dead in DC Comics, which you look back on the last couple of months and you realize we were given a lot of time to say goodbye to him. During Absolute Power, they front ran him in backup stories. They made him a key player in getting the superheroes out of the Supermax facility on Gamora Island. They made sure to highlight the relationship between Diana and Steve. They even threw Damian in there to give it some relief, because it's pretty serious. And then they rip it all out from under Diana. And you watch her grieve. It's issue on her grieving. And then they get into a little bit of mythology with the witches, with the lifelines and stuff. And you find out that they're missing some thread. And what Wonder Woman does after her grieving and everything, she goes to it doesn't go to Hades. It's the river.
The river Styx. Yep.
These are the river Styx, and find Steve Trevor, who's literally fighting off the ferryman himself, because he's like, I'm going to wait around a while to see if anyone shows up. So he's fighting off the ferryman because he's a badass. And she gets to say her goodbyes and wants to take him back. And he explains, I can't go back. This is it. And she ends up going back and sitting on the beaches of Themyscira, and she holds out her hand, and she has the threads, one for her own lifeline and one for his. And she pushes them together. And, there's a blue one, was it like a blue one and a purple one? And she holds them together until they form together. And you have one gold lifeline. And then right there in the sand of the beach, she forms the shape of a baby, just like her mother did. And inside of it, she put that life thread in there. Then she prays for her mother to breathe life into it, much like her mom did to bring her to life. So that's the origin of Trinity, comes from Diana grieving and bringing new life into the world at the loss of Steve Trevor, the same way her mother did. It was an amazing issue. And Tom King was right. It was controversial. You had people pissed online, like, oh, well, this is trash. You hate this character. Why you do this? And all I could think is, like, this is like some of the best writing I've read in a long time. And this is what people ask for in comics all the time. These are stakes, this is people dying. This is creating new characters. There was meaning behind it. There was weight to it. It was like I messaged Paul the second that I read Jenny Sparks. And I told him, I think Jenny Sparks is the read of the week. And then 20 minutes later, I messaged him back. I'm like, I was wrong. Wonder Woman's the read of the week in Bring Tissues. It was a beautiful issue. Yeah, and all the hate is just like, and I read through so many comments, and I I couldn't find a single one that was commenting, criticizing the story or the level of quality in writing, if that makes sense. They're only just name calling or just calling it crap. They're not saying what they didn't like about it. And I understand there are some people like, can't believe you killed Steve. Yeah. No one saw that coming when he opened the door. But that's what people complain about. Like it's a comic book. Like wait long enough and they'll come back. But for now, for the time being, for the unforeseeable future, like this is a decision that was made by a character and now people are suffering from it. And a lot of people are going to pay. And it's going to affect Diana in a lot of ways for the foreseeable story, which gives us story. So I'm for it.
And I know that we won't get to it today.
That Penguin series is amazing.
Yeah. We won't get to it today because you still got to do your drawing. I reminded you.
There's a giveaway, yeah.
But speaking of crying, I'm sure you saw Superman and Lois.
I did. Made the thumbnail. Yeah, let's I guess we'll just swerve because it's already after 10. Let's swerve and talk some Superman and Lois and we'll do the giveaway and we'll get out of here. Go for it. Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
I believe. I think it's episode 4. No, I'm sorry. It was episode 3. You're right. It was episode 3. Yes, you're right.
I've been sitting at home with no power in the quiet, just counting episodes. Penguin. It's so hard to watch this stuff.
There is, was it episode? Anyway, it was either 3 or 4. But anyway, we finally see Jonathan. Because of what has happened to his father, he has such stress going on with his life and everything that's going on that he actually develops powers as well now. So he has powers.
It was a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But the main part of what happened in Superman and Lois is Lex is still trying to find out where his sister is. Sam Lane knows where his sister is. He refuses to tell him. So he basically sends Bizarro Doomsday, to the DOD to get Sam to tell him where his daughter is. And he refuses to do so. He actually injects himself with a serum that has, and I don't know exactly, I don't recall where they got that serum from. I'm sure you probably
remember in the first season when they have the super soldiers.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The DOD took a drop of Superman's blood and refined it into a serum to try to give people powers without General Lane knowing. And there's only one vial left. And the DOD had it in wraps. And when Superman dead, General Lane was up to some stuff and he had that. We didn't know what he wanted it for, but when he found out Doomsday was coming, he took it to the office and injected himself. Right.
And what happens is Doomsday then comes, Lex is on the phone, basically says, "You gonna tell me where it is?" He's like, "No." Doomsday basically takes Sam Lane, crushes his head for the most part, dumps him on the ground like he did Clark. But then what we get Steel takes Sam Lane's body to the Fortress of Solitude, because the one thing that is missing for Clark is a heart. Well, now we have a heart in Sam Lane that has been injected with a super soldier that maybe even has some of Clark's blood in it.
Yeah, it has Clark's DNA in it.
Right, exactly. So that's where we end. At the very end is we get that iconic scene of, someone who is unconscious, the eyes come open. Meanwhile,
he's about to be so pissed.
Meanwhile, Lex is playing games with Lois Lane and his family again because he has the recording that he had of, if you recall in one of the first episodes, do you want to save Jordan or do you want to save
Jonathan?
Jonathan, sorry. And she chooses Jonathan because, rightfully so, Jordan had superpowers, and if anyone's going to be able to get out of it, it's going to be him. But he's all pissed off. But he seemed to be over it by the end of the episode because then it was like, his grandfather's dead, so I don't know if that'll come back or not. But
what a bookended episode too, because it opens with Lois dialoguing about loss and how do you put into words what you mean to me. And we all assume that they're sitting there thinking about Clark and by the tree on the farm with the headstone. And it's like, how do you even put into words? Is it even possible? I'll spend my whole life trying, kind of thing. And then we get into the episode where they're, the squabble between the brothers. And as John points out, it kind of meets its head with Jordan and Jonathan, where Jonathan is blaming Jordan for losing the opportunity to bring their dad back, going out hot-headed after Lex and getting his dad's heart destroyed, because they're hoping with Kryptonian crypt technology, we can bring him back. But that moment of them in the barn where Jonathan's trying to be the brother that says, it's okay, it's fine, I'm not mad. And Jordan kind of pushing, he's like, man, I'm sorry. That delivery of Jonathan breaking down and letting go, it gave me chills. Like this show has not failed to deliver the most emotional beats, and not just in a sad way, like in numerous ways. Like you get excited, you get sad, you get nervous for these characters, but it was absolutely amazing. And then we got so many flashbacks in this. It's kind of like the season storytelling is built on flashbacks, because like there's key moments, like with Superman's death, we got a lot of flashbacks to him and Lois in their courtship and stuff. And in this episode, we were getting flashbacks with Clark and Lois trying to bring the truth of him being Superman to General Lane, to bring a proposal for his daughter, shots of them at the wedding, the conversation with General Lane to Lois right before she went down the aisle, explaining like what it means to be a father, what it means to have these responsibilities for the greater good, where you can't stop yourself from helping people and what that can do to a relationship. And Lois recognizing that. And this line right here, when he says, I'll always be brave for you, Pumpkin. We're talking about how like, all right, well, you go get married and I'll be brave, and I'll always be brave for you. When they're at the DOD, Steele and Natasha, they go out to confront Doomsday and they can't even slow him down. And when General Lane walks out there, wounded, walking straight up to Doomsday, telling Lex to go kick rocks, and he just turns around, and that's the last things he says to Lois. It was just heartbreaking. It was just rough.
And hats off also to Elizabeth Tulloch, who plays Lois.
Oh my God.
The acting she did when she pulled Clark over and saw there was no heart there, the scream she let out, and then again when she sees her father die, she did it twice, 2 episodes in a row, basically. Well, episode 1 and 3, but 2 weeks in a row for us. But yeah, it was just incredible.
It was insane. Superman's alive. I can't imagine how crazy this fight with Doomsday is about to be.
Mm-hmm.
We got Steele, we've got Natasha, we've got Jonathan, we got Jordan, and by God, we better have a black suit Superman. There's just something about the black suit Superman. Oh, one of the best depictions of Luthor on screen we have ever had. 100% agree. And what's so crazy, and it's a testament to what the show has done since season 1. This is none of us, like Superman fanboy, Superman fan, you're clearly a Superman fan. None of us would ever, if someone said, adapt a Lex for screen, this would never be it. Out of 1,000 tries from fanboys, we would never deliver this Lex. Right. But somehow something about it is still Lex.
Right. Because, and that was funny you say that, because I thought about, this is not the Lex who, walks around saying, he's from another planet, he's dangerous. This is not a Lex who walks around saying, I'm the one that's in charge of Metropolis, you're not. Although those are maybe way in the background, he's almost a lot more focused on Lois.
This is just pure vengeance.
Exactly. That's what this Lex is, and it comes across so well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cannot wait to see how this plays out. How many episodes are we getting for this final season?
I want to say 10. No, tell you 10 or 11, I think.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was asked earlier, I was talking to Kyle, Wheelchair Superhero 87, and he asked me, am I sad that this is the final season? I said, absolutely not. We're going out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln. Exactly. Yeah, we're going out on top. I like the idea. I so much more like the idea of getting, like, I know this wasn't the original intended final season, but they started filming this season knowing it was the final season. So they're able to give us what's going to turn out to be 4 flawless episodes of Superman television, or 4 flawless seasons, much like Stargirl
Mhm.
That was a flawless show. Jeff Johns brought a flawless show. Might not be your favorite, but they meant to make a Stargirl show, and they made a Stargirl show perfectly. And I like that when opposed to like doing like 37 seasons of Flash, where it starts really good, and by season 3 it's like goated, and then by season 10 you don't even want to watch it. I
I mean,
don't like.
I like the Flash, but it was like every year he was fighting another speedster. It's like we saw that like the
Yeah,
last
and it
three
was like
seasons.
this. It was the rinse and repeat of the same drama too. Like that's like think of the dynamic storytelling with the drama between the characters in this show has been different from season to season. Like I like that it's like family oriented because there's so many different angles of stuff that you can unpack and approach, and they've done that. You know, like right, this is the first time we've seen the brothers really squabbling. You know. And before we saw like them dealing with stuff specifically at school, or Lois dealing with job stuff, or Lois dealing with cancer in one, and then feelings of helplessness of a spouse. Like it's not just I love you, but we don't hang out enough because we're on the CW and we're supposed to be sad. Let's go to the coffee shop.
Do you ever watch the show Grimm?
Mm-mm.
That's the show that Lois was on before she was on Superman and Lois.
She's
Basically,
fantastic.
it is. It basically is about a guy who there are like trolls and monsters and everything running around, but they all have human appearances. And this family that the main character is part of actually able to see them for who they truly are. And so he goes out and tries to, capture them or do whatever he needs to do, whatever. Well, the guy that starred with Elizabeth Tulloch in Grimm was the guy who directed this last episode of Superman and Lois.
Well, he crushed it. The direction was on point. That scream, my man, sent chills. And did you notice how they shut off the sound on it too?
Mm-hmm.
Like she hit the scream, like you got scream queen level quality, and then they cut the sound to make the moment just drop. You're like, oh my God. And the fact that Jordan wasn't there. Oh.
Yeah. Grimm was a very good show. I agree with you 100.
Hey.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. Good to see you with power.
I know. It's so exciting. Hi, my baby.
Couldn't get their Chromecast work for them. They're in there.
Are they sleeping?
Maybe. All right, so we're about to get into the Legion loot, the long overdue Legion loot. But it's a good one. I think it's a good one.
It's a great one.
We got the wheel
They're
here.
always great.
I like to think so. Some of them have been super duper, and some have been great. I don't think I've done a bad one.
I don't know.
But again, if you're a channel member in the Legion tier, I put your name on a wheel every month. In the first Sunday of the month, we do an appreciation thank you prize for one lucky channel member. If you're not a channel member, consider joining. There's 2 different tiers. You can just be a supporter, or you can join the Legion at the Legion tier and get your name on the wheel. But it still gives you access to early videos, loyalty badges next to your name, custom emojis, and access to the members-only streams. All that. So this is what's in this month's Legion loot. We have that Mark Spears Bride of Frankenstein Monsters cover that exploded. Ian Bertram, Incredible Hulk, the guy who did the Absolute Batman 1 in 25, which I have over here. Did you get one of those, Paul? You said one's on the way.
Yep, one's on the way.
Look at that. Oh my God. That Metamorpho that he's got coming. Oh my God. But Void Rivals, the 10th print, honoring where it all started with Jetfire and Daniel Warren Johnson. Had to grab one of those for the Legion loot. Grommets #1, because I keep hearing this thing is awesome. The Prism foil for the 30th anniversary of 0 Hour, which was amazing. Parallax, that's all I'll say. The foil exclusive Batman Day for the Long Halloween. The Elmer Fudd Batman special by Tom King. I see we got some Tom King love in here tonight. And yeah, if you like Tom King, you're in the right place. The freebies that were in the Batman Day, including the final Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok DC work, Joker, The World, and then the big time collectible exclusives with Miko's Batman 89, Michael Keaton, little Jim Lee homaging. It's actually an homage to an Elseworld cover. Jim Lee didn't do this originally. I forget what was the name of that Elseworld cover. That bright. It was Brightest something. Brightest Night. Because it's when
Yeah,
Bruce got the Green Lantern ring.
yeah, yep.
It's
Brightest,
like-
it was. I think it was Brightest Night. I think.
And then this cover that Jim Lee's so famous for was Jim Lee homaging someone else.
Right.
Thought that was funny. Alan Qua's Ultimate Spider-Man #1, freaking dope. Thunderbolts #1, some Yolanda, what's her name? Yelena goodness on there. And then Star Wars Darth Vader 44, the Sabine Wren Rebels cover. They went through and did all the Rebels, I believe. And last but not least, the ratio variant for Void Rivals #1, where the Energon universe kicked off and started. It all started right here. Like I said earlier, this is where Jetfire stood up for the first time. That was such a moment, man. It was so cool. It was so cool. I went back and went ham on that. I got that 1 in 100 for it and all that stuff. That's a lot of hooch. It is. It is a lot of books, but the Legionnaires are worth it. They are worth it. Let's see if we get this thing in here. Let me add the screen. Oh, there we go. Oh, ads. Those aren't good. YouTube doesn't like ads. All right. So good luck to everybody. I'm going to shuffle this thing till Paul says stop.
Paul says stop.
And that means what?
That means that it's my fault if you win.
This month's Legion loot is going to, and keep in mind, since we're late on this, the next one's right around the corner.
One with a long name.
Never could figure it out. Going to Jason. Congrats to Jason. Boop. Screenshot that so I've seen it. Awesome sauce. Good stuff. So I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. I appreciate it a whole lot. I missed everybody. Glad we're back. Glad we could come together like butt cheeks and enjoy geeking out over this stuff. I'm sure I've missed a lot of countless things that could have been talked about. But be sure to check out the channel. More videos coming tomorrow. There's an Absolute Superman video. And I'm probably going to do like an NYCC video, some of the announcement. There's tons of stuff to unpack. Tons of stuff that we didn't get into tonight. It was a massively successful NYCC for comic book fans. There's so much to look forward to. Hope everybody has a good one. And until next time, as always, we are Legion.